I always thought my sister was a reasonable person, until I met her 3-year-old. Angel. She swore he was a prodigy. I thought he was just a kid. Then I saw him in action, and realized we might have a problem. Hi Reddit, I'm writing this because I still don't know if I handle things the right way. My sister, Claire, is 29 years old, a single mom, and the proud mother of a little boy named Aiden, who's 3, almost 4. She loves him with every ounce of her being, and I respect her for that. But Claire's devotion to Aiden has morphed into something different. She doesn't just love her son, she's convinced he's a misunderstood genius. And while I thought this was harmless at first, over time, her beliefs started affecting everyone around her. Claire has always had a flair for the dramatic. She was the artsy, spiritual kid growing up, the kind of sister who wrote poems about the moon, collected crystals, and swore she could feel people's auras. She's creative and eccentric, and honestly, I used to love that about her. When she had Aiden, though, that creativity turned into something else entirely. She became obsessed with the idea that her son was special. From the moment he opened his eyes, she swore there was something otherworldly about him. I can see wisdom in his gaze, she told me when he was just a few days old. He's an old soul. I can feel it. I remember smiling, thinking it was just new mom hormones. But it only escalated from there. When Aiden babbled at 6 months, Claire sent me videos daily. Listen! Those aren't just sounds, he's communicating. He's ahead of his age. When he stacked blocks at 1 year old, she gushed. Look at that spatial awareness. No one his age has that. Everything he did, no matter how normal, became evidence of his brilliance. At first, I thought it was sweet. She was a single mom who clearly adored her baby. But as he grew older, her idolization stopped being cute and started becoming a problem. The first real red flag was at our mom's birthday party when Aiden was about 2.5. The whole family was there, our parents, cousins, aunts, uncles. Everyone was sitting around chatting when Claire arrived, dramatically announcing, "Everyone! My star has arrived!" She rolled Aiden in a stroller, and he already looked like he'd gone through a war zone, chocolate smeared across his cheeks, sticky hands, and mismatched clothes. Claire, meanwhile, was glowing like she was about to present royalty. Within seconds, Aiden was tearing through the living room. He grabbed a drink off the coffee table and dumped it onto the rug. My mom gasped and tried to clean it up, but Claire just shrugged. He's curious. That's how he learns boundaries, by testing them. Testing them, apparently, meant snatching my phone right out of my hand. When I tried to gently take it back, Claire jumped in. Let him explore. Why limit his curiosity? He then climbed onto the couch and jumped up and down, nearly knocking over my pregnant cousin. Instead of correcting him, Claire started filming. Look at him expressing himself through movement. He's channeling pure energy, she gushed. Then came the monkey noises. Aiden began pounding his chest and shrieking at the top of his lungs. People tried to laugh it off, but I saw my aunt exchange a worried glance with my mom. Claire was glowing with pride. He's so in touch with his primal instincts. If the family gathering wasn't enough, Claire's social media posts sealed the deal for me. She turned Aiden into her personal brand. She'd upload videos of him having full-blown tantrums in restaurants, accompanied by captions like, "Society labels this a meltdown. I call it emotional intelligence. My son feels deeply and expresses it authentically." Or pictures of him throwing food. Some see a mess. I see a sensory masterpiece in progress. She'd rant about how daycare teachers didn't understand his creativity when they send home notes about his behavior. To Claire, rules and structure were oppressive. I muted her posts because it was exhausting watching her defend every chaotic moment. The night I knew something had to change was when Claire invited me out for dinner. "I want you to bond with Aiden," she said. We went to a family-friendly restaurant. The first issue? She didn't bring a diaper bag. "He's potty aware now," she said confidently. Within 15 minutes, he had an accident. Instead of apologizing or cleaning it up quickly, she laughed and said, "Part of his journey," and flagged down a waiter for napkins. Then, Aiden started grabbing fries from a stranger's plate. When I told him gently, "Hey buddy, those aren't ours," Claire shot me a look. "Don't shame him," she said sharply. "Children are naturally communal eaters." Things escalated when Aiden stood on his chair and began howling like a wolf. The restaurant went silent. Claire clapped. "See? He's expressing himself. That's pure joy." The manager came over, asking her to calm him down. Claire launched into a speech about society's inability to embrace neurodiversity. Though Aiden hadn't been diagnosed with anything, I wanted to sink into the floor. That night, I walked her and Aiden back to her apartment. Once he was asleep, I finally said what I'd been holding in. "Claire, you're a great mom. You love Aiden so much, and that's clear. But I think you're doing him a disservice. She froze. Excuse me? You're treating him like a prodigy, but he's a toddler. He needs structure. You're not helping him thrive. You're letting him do whatever he wants. Her face turned red. You think I'm a bad mom? You think my son is bad? No. I think he's a normal kid. And that's not a bad thing. But you're raising him to think the rules don't apply to him. It's going to hurt him later. Claire's eyes filled with tears. You don't understand. He's all I have. I want him to feel free to be himself. I sighed. There's a difference between letting him be himself and refusing to parent him. You're isolating yourself. People don't want to be around you because of this. She burst into tears and locked herself in bed. I left feeling like the villain. A week later, my mom called me. Something happened with Claire, she said. Apparently, Claire had taken Aiden to a playdate. It was a nightmare. Aiden bit another child who wouldn't share a toy, screamed so loudly that the other parents asked her to leave, and ended up throwing blocks at a caregiver. Claire drove home in tears, completely humiliated. For the first time, she couldn't justify his behavior. She stayed off social media for days. Then she called me. Her voice was soft. I've been thinking about what you said. I need help. I almost dropped my phone. She admitted she'd been terrified of being judged as a single mom. She thought if she raised Aiden to be free and unique, she could prove she was doing an amazing job. But instead, she'd been shielding him from necessary discipline. I feel like I failed him, she whispered. No, I said firmly. You're recognizing a problem and fixing it. That's not failure, that's parenting. Claire signed Aiden up for preschool. She found a local parenting support group and even scheduled a consultation with a child behavior specialist, not because Aiden was broken, but because she wanted guidance. The first few weeks were hard. Aiden didn't like rules at preschool, but Claire stuck with it. Slowly, he learned structure. He started saying please and thank you, sitting through meals, and playing better with other kids. For Thanksgiving, Claire brought Aiden over, and I saw the difference immediately. He still had toddler energy, but Claire gently redirected him instead of filming his chaos. At one point, she leaned over to me and whispered, "Thank you for being honest. I was so defensive because I was scared. I didn't realize I was hurting him." I squeezed her hand. "You're not a bad mom, Claire. You're learning." Looking back, I don't blame her. Parenting is hard, and being a single mom makes it even harder. She wanted to believe her son was extraordinary because it gave her hope. But in trying to shield him from judgment, she was isolating both of them. Now, Aiden is thriving. Claire is happier too. She still calls him her bright star. But she also recognizes that being a good parent means saying no, sometimes. Sometimes, loving someone means telling them the truth they don't want to hear. And I'm glad I did. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more dramatic Reddit stories.